on your thing, or are you using this one for specific, real non-formal?
Well, okay, so one of the goals.
Yeah, because there's no space here to put like a laptop or like.
Yeah, so man, eventually, and I've been looking at this for a while. Like having a full-time professor gig, I've got to.
Yeah.
Like having the full-time professor gig, like I kind of like decided when I started doing that, this is a new routine, and I inherited the guy whose job I took over. I inherited his schedule because he wasn't planning on retiring, and they offered him like an out, basically.
Right. They said
maybe
all this money, please.
maybe a couple of outs, and so he retired. And I mean, it was a good move for them because they were able to like. He had a PhD, so they were able to pay me like probably half what they were paying him.
Right.
But the unfortunate part for me is that they had already made his schedule.
Right.
So I essentially have to teach this other professor's schedule. This dude's like a huge Dr. DeBlack fanboy too. I was like, you know, Dr. DeBlack and I are homeboys, right? But I'm gonna have DeBlack. So after I get like more established, I'm gonna start teaching Arkansas history.
Yeah.
But they're right now, next semester, I'm teaching my schedule. I want to be teaching. This will be way better for what I got going on with the gym, you know. So that's going to be a huge plus.
So like right now, you're just kind of in this weird schedule.
And I just
it's just through Christmas though.
Yeah, and I have like I said, I've been setting up a studio at my office, and the office looks just as cool as this, except with like a lot of the stuff I had in the podcast before. Just like the decorations and stuff. I just moved them all to my office. So I got 2 bookshelves, a desk. Like I got like 3 different shots. I got like 2 of these chairs. So this recorder allows me to go mobile. So like when we go see concerts, we're going to start doing Music Unraveled after the concert on this.
Oh yeah.
Because this actually
like
is really good wherever.
That'd be cool.
The audio on just this recorder, we can do a good podcast on. This just gives us a little better, like what you were saying, you hear like that little gain. Like I'll tweak this. This is the first official thing I've done other than playing with it. But the cool shtick about this is I have one of these that you can hook into a computer, and this one can hook into a mixer. But for some reason, I had it hooked into the mixer and it wasn't going to the camera. So that's why we're doing audio only.
Right.
But here's another thing. Out of like 75 podcasts I've done, I always get more audio only listens, which defies what all statistics say about podcasting right now.
Right, that people prefer videos.
Well, and I don't think I'm too late to the YouTube scene by any sense of the means. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
you could say that if you didn't get in before 2010, you're too late, but...
Well, I've been we're building our gym channel. We've got a lot of views. I got a lot of views on, but like if you looked at all the audio platforms I'm on and the number of views I'm getting there, or listens rather,
it's
pretty good. So, but I've just been doing a lot of logistics on like, I've never taught Civ 1, never taught US 1, and I'm teaching 3 sections of Civ 1,
right.
2 sections of US 1. And that's keeping me pretty busy prepping, like building the test.
Civ 1 doesn't sound all that big a deal. You just go steal someone's syllabi, right? And then you just kind of...
In a way, you know, or maybe you just do David Krieger's Ancient Egypt class and call it Western Civilization 1, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of what's going on, because here's the thing, check it out, like, so like, Tech has World Civ, so you know how like in World Civs, like for example, when I set in on Krieger's class for that, because I had taken before I set in on
it. World Civ 1, he starts out with like the 5 crescents, right?
Yes.
River valleys that...
So they, in Western Civ, they only deal with...
they only start at Egypt.
They go prehistory, Mesopotamia, Egypt. That's like my first unit, right? And then it goes the Assyrians...
you just stay here and you follow
Persians and Hebrews, Assyrians, Persians, and then still kind of that, and then Greece and Rome.
Sure.
So I'm going to need those Greece and Rome notes. Dude, I bet. Okay, so the girl that's the librarian at Morrilton, I bet you were in Greece and Rome with her. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think you took Greece and Rome, and like I had a schedule conflict, and I've been dying on the inside ever since I didn't take that class and Krieger retired, and yeah. So, Greece and Rome, never got to take it. Super sad, but I still got all my Enlightenment and Egypt notes and all my Civ notes. And
I don't think I got Enlightenment.
oh, you were in the Enlightenment, were you not?
I don't know. Who? That's not a Krieger class.
Europe in the Age of an Enlightenment?
That wasn't a Krieger class.
Oh, yes, it was.
I wasn't in that class.
Bro!
Must have been after, no?
Bro, yeah, I got to
Maybe.
take it for the Enlightenment. It was. I remember that semester because I was in the Enlightenment at 8 to 9:20, then philosophy religion 9:30 to 10:50, and then I walked from Tomlinson to Witherspoon, where I would take Georgina Duncan for. It was either Vietnam War or World War II. I can't remember, but damn, I miss that lady too, dude. Did you ever have her?
Never had Georgina.
She
Was a
like.
professor.
Well, she was super educated. She went to school in London.
Yeah.
And she smoked cigarettes, like probably more than Dr. Gleason.
Yeah.
She talked like this.
Yeah.
But she had a weird accent because she spent a lot of years in England. It was very interesting.
Yeah, her English was definitely higher than around here. So.
Yeah. So what have you been doing, dude?
My brain just explodes. What have I been doing?
So last time I talked to you, you had kind of a couple of jobs going on.
Yeah.
You almost paid off your student loans. Is that...
That is done.
Bro.
I am
Fist bump in the middle of the microphone. Congratulations,
I'm debt free.
man.
I mean, so it's an interesting space to be in. I'm debt free. So in one category, I'm ahead of every one of my peers, like 95 of you guys. In all other categories, as far as like assets, all those fancy financial bank words, I am behind everyone. I have to my name $700 maybe. I don't know, something like that. That's
But
where
now,
I'm at.
dude, now that you don't have that outgo, bro.
I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I have zero assets. I have zero bills. That's true, but I have zero assets. So I am a newborn baby out in the world, and I've been thinking about this a lot. Like the people who went into debt in their 20s.
You technically are only 5 years old.
7.
Seven.
I have to do math.
Leap year
now.
child.
It's no longer an easy grab. I've been busy. I can't keep up with my own age. But like the people like you've got your own business that you do. You've got the second job. Like you've created like wealth that works for you, and those are all assets that will outlive your debt and help you get out of debt.
Oh yeah.
So that's something I don't have. Whereas I worked my butt off and I used up all my social equity with family and friends to pay off my debt. And now I'm free, and I could just take off at any moment and walk to Cambodia. I realize that you need a boat to get there, but I could.
Well, yeah. Why don't you just walk from London to Jerusalem again? I mean,
I took some trains.
like when I tell people about you, I'm like, yeah, this guy, he walked from London to Jerusalem. They're like, what?
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah, took some trains. There were trains in there. Yeah, good times. But I could. So maybe that's a good segue to. I've been welding for the past 3 weeks at my job. I work in a place where we make stuff for boats. That's probably as descriptive as it needs to get. And they've had me welding for like the last 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, you were welding last time I talked to you.
Well, I wasn't welding yet, really. They started teaching me how to weld, and so I've just learned sort of how to TIG weld aluminum. And that's what I've been doing nonstop for 3 weeks. And I get paid $15 an hour now. So hey,
that's pretty good, dude.
Not too bad. But I'm also waiting to hear back from a church in Conway on a missions coordinator position, which is like, I had started talking about this kind of thing that I wanted to do in a church probably 5-6 years ago now, and it seems like this job is that job, and no, I've never heard of anyone having the exact thing that I wanted until this, and I think it's really close. So all of my eggs are in that basket, and if I don't get it, then I've got some live crazy options like teaching English in Japan or pursuing a career as a professor at Morrilton. Since you keep pushing it on me, so
bro,
so
it's very worth looking into.
Well, it sounds like it's one of those like ground level, like now's the time to get in, and so I've been struggling.
Dude, I can't believe how good
Yeah.
of a situation it turned out to be for me.
Yeah.
Like, because first, like the base salary is at $37,500.
That sounds nice. That's more than I've ever made in a year.
Yeah, so like, I mean, you know, we have more, like, we do pretty well with the gym, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I told...
Which, congratulations.
Well,
I mean...
Thank you. Couldn't do without Cora. But I told Morrilton, you know, it's like, hey, I'm coming down here because I want to be coming down here, not because I have to be coming down
That's
here.
right.
And...
Grabbing them right there.
They were like, hey, we need to either hire an adjunct or we need you to teach an overload. My first semester full time.
Sounds good, yeah.
And I was like, whatever you need. I didn't even know they were going to pay me for it, honestly. But they did. And I taught a summer class, and I'll teach another overload in the spring. So it's like almost $6,000 extra a year. You know? But there's that professor I was telling you about. His name's Dana Thomason. He actually had... So are you considered a PhD?
No. I just have a master's in theology.
See, like, they converted a lot of his theology hours over to philosophy.
Sure.
So he teaches philosophy and psych.
And psych, yeah.
But here's the thing. We're about to need, like... You know why I got to teach 6 history classes every semester? Because they can't find an adjunct.
Yeah, and well, I think the big thing is Morrilton's a commuting town, so no one lives there.
Dorms, yeah.
No one really lives there. Everyone who lives in Morrilton works in Conway or Little Rock, right?
Yeah, Conway, Greenbrier.
So I'd really have to like move to Morrilton or get a car, and even if I got a car, I'd have to move closer.
Are you living
to
in
Morrilton.
Clarksville?
Yeah.
See,
living in Clarksville is rough, especially without a car.
It would be. It would be.
You know,
but
still in the brother's car to make it here is.
See, I just don't know, man. I just feel like I could never get this situation I got at Morrilton in tech or anywhere else.
No, I tried tech, and tech's like, you gotta have this, blah 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 blah, and he's just the department head was just really like, bam, just squashed all my dreams. I was like, I just want to teach an online class. It's actually kind of BS. Like, it's real easy to set up. I don't really have to do a lot. You could actually probably get a sophomore to do it if I'm being honest with you. Right.
Dude, yeah, you know, and even if here's what, because I think Morrilton would hire you to do something.
Sure.
Right?
Well,
get in the door, because are you driving to Conway still?
No. So my job's in town, but if I got the job in Conway and I had space in that, I would definitely probably pick up I would swing into Morrilton and be like, this is what I want to do.
Because dude, that adjuncting position turned into a full-time position like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's probably the only thing holding me back. If I lived closer and had a means of getting there more regularly, or if they were just going to pay me to do online classes, then.
Dude, that's what sucks about
How much do they pay
Morrilton.
for like an adjuncting position per class?
I think it's $18.75 a course.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
It's not too bad, but think about it this way. Like, let's say you were teaching 5 of those.
Yeah.
Whatever $18.75 times 5 is, I don't know, but. It's not very much. It's way less than $37.5.
Yeah.
So but okay. So here's another thing, like the benefits, dude.
Yeah.
Because they have all these employees, they've worked out these rates with the insurance company they provide. I'm sure. So like, Cora and I got slaughtered, bro. Like, we got married. I turned 30 and she turned 25, and I added her to our policy, my policy that I've had since I got out of high school, all in the same year, and my insurance rates went up 300%, dog. Like, I was paying like $500 a month. Morrilton, health, vision, dental, life, and retirement, 6% of my check gets held out for retirement. They match 14% of that. Is all less than I was paying for health insurance.
That's crazy.
I'm going to the dentist for the first time in 10 years. I'll let you know how it goes.
I had to go to the dentist for the first time. Did
they give you the gas?
No, they didn't give me the gas. They shot me. It was like one of those, here's $50, please take this broken up piece of wisdom tooth that's been in here that's shattered that and the back molar.
I've always had a little weird wisdom tooth.
That was rough. My top ones came in, destroyed the back molars. Anyways, I got all that straightened out probably 4 years ago, so that means 15 years without a dentist I went. And it was like, just to take out some teeth. And I was like, well, this is not how I remember it. I didn't get your highlights in the lobby, but yeah, the dentist, like, people go to the dentist all the time. And I'm just like, well, that must be really nice. Like, in my family, we stopped going when I was 12.
Yeah, I probably hadn't been to the dentist 10 times my whole life, but I mean, I feel like my teeth are doing
10?
really good.
What are you doing? What do you need 10 for?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, and then too, so like my buddy went the other day, Morrilton professor, English guy, and he had to get 2 crowns, and then like they're like, while they were in there, like, you need this work done too, blah 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 blah. And then he gets out and he's all jacked up, man. They've been working on it for like 3 hours, all messed up.
Yeah.
He goes to pay, and they're like, that'll be $1,000. Do you want to pay cash or check? And he's like, I came here to get like 2 crowns, and like then you upsold me on all this other stuff while I was on drugs.
On the drugs, yeah.
Dude, it's so. Here's a funny story.
That's
like,
a great upsell.
A couple of the concerts we've been to recently, at the Widespread Panic, where I got those. There's these guys that go around called the Nitrous Mafia. So after these people walk out of these amphitheater venues, there's these guys there with tanks of nitrous, like they give you at the dentist. There's documentaries about them on YouTube, and they fill up balloons and they sell them 3 for $20. And dude, like, it's kind of like they call it hippie crack. And like everybody just like finds a spot to sit down and it's like, wah, 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 wah. It's crazy, dude. I've never seen anything like it. But they're called the Nitrous Mafia, and they were there in Memphis and they were there in Nashville.
That's all legal, yeah.
No, I'm sure it's like big time level felony, man. But yeah, they can't because somebody said we walked out the last night and we were expecting to see them there or whatever. We went and saw Panic in Nashville, and everybody was like, "Yep, they just got busted." It's like, damn, dude. Yeah. Oh man, you know you can't. It's got to be some sort of felony to distribute that to people like that without a license. Let's say they had a license for the tanks, but they don't have any sort of license to administer, you know? Like, think about, like,
they're not administering, though. It's self-administering.
Yeah, true that.
I bet you they got off. Their lawyers probably got them off easy.
Well, I think getting busted is them just being like, oh, the cops are walking up, we're running away.
Sure.
We're going to go post up on this other corner.
Yeah.
Which we were unable to find, by the way. Oh, man. But, yeah, Colby and I are looking forward to doing podcasts with this little recorder on the way back from concerts and stuff. I'm going to see Henry Rollins give a talk here very soon. He used to be the lead singer for Black Flag.
Oh, right. Okay.
He's going to talk at the Rev Room, 300 slides, little PowerPoint presentation.
It's a lot of slides.
Little one, yeah. I did, no joke, I went to some training thing at the college. That's the only downside of this, bro. Like, my first semester, like, thesis overload, and first year faculties don't have to be on committees. But we volunteered you for one. And we meet, like, every week. And I'm the only faculty member on the committee, so I'm, like, the only one who's losing student interaction time and office hours and prep and all this.
But we volunteered you for one.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
But, dude, it's a good gig down there, bro.
I'm tempted, and it's one of those things where it's like, you'd be stupid to not get in there, but it's not the thing I want to do for the rest of my life. For sure.
It's, dude, I'm gonna tell you this right now, like, one of my plans, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. I know that I can't see myself getting a PhD anytime in the next 10 years.
Right.
I can't.
Once you get that master's, you're just like,
well, cool. It's the investment repayment. So, like, in the next 10 years, we have 3 goals that I think are pretty achievable. 1, pay off this house. We only owe like $97,000 on it, so not that bad. 2, pay off with student loans. That's why, hats off, dude.
Yeah.
I got to spend the next like 5 years doing that. 3, I think by the time I'm 40, based off my retirement portfolio, and just as I'm looking at it and talking to other professors, I think by the time I'm 40, I could cash out and stop working and pay off the gym.
That's the game you win. See, I have zero retirement. That's the game you're going to win.
Well, dude, I had zero retirement until like 3 weeks ago.
Sure. Yeah, but like in the next, I've got to get the thing that gets me on track, because by 50 you're going to be winning. If you're looking long term, you're winning the race between the two of us, because I'm starting at zero and you have things, even though you're in the negatives.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I like. Here's the thing, like just through my business, because we're building another building right now.
A second location?
It's just it's going to be like our current building, how it's like rectangularly orientated, and then we're going to put a building next to it that just houses our fitness, kickboxing, and yoga, massage studio.
So you're expanding.
Yes, it's going to be 60 by 60, whereas our current one is 40 by 100. The current one will only have kids and adult martial arts classes, but we'll be able to start running kids and adult classes at the same time.
Right.
Right now we run 2 classes at a time. We'll be able to start running 3. So we're having a yoga while we have a kids martial arts class while we're having adult BJJ. So
are you getting that kind of traffic to where it's like you need to expand like that? Dude, is it crazy?
Holy shit. Yes. If you drove by in the evening, there's no place to park. We were looking at the 4 lots in front of us. It's like to maybe build a strip mall or something, and like either sell our lot off or rent our space to somebody. And all 4 lots in front of us been vacant for like 7, 8, however many years, sold. So now we're looking at the block that we're in line with. There's rent houses and stuff for sale on there, and like my dad is going to retire sometime soon. I've been trying to talk him into it for a long time, man, because like I'm trying to get on another plan with like me and Colby and my dad and Cora, and to where we start accumulating rentals.
Yeah.
So
more assets, man. That's where it's at.
Well, assets, yes, but like also passive income.
Yeah, well that's where it's at, right?
Like, see, so like for me, in a way, like, it's the gym's a poor analogy, but I do have a little bit of passive income coming in.
I mean, at some point you could step away from the gym if you wanted to, but
I only teach adults now. I don't teach unless I want to, or unless somebody's out of town. I don't teach morning or noon classes. I go in at 4:45 on Tuesday, Thursday until 8, and I go in at 5:45 on Monday, Wednesday until 7:30. So, whereas Cora's there at the noon time. It's so funny. I just realized I was at Lowe's and I had a note of stuff I was supposed to buy. And I was like, what on earth does door cover mean? Did you see on the wall right there? Yeah. That's what door cover means.
Where that indent is?
Dude, I was walking around Lowe's for 20 minutes like, Brian, like, what does door cover mean? Like, what are you talking about?
I found it.
Should have put knob, sorry. ADD moment, bro.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I like how there is like the little lock thing is the indent into your drywall.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
What do you think about the whiskey barrel?
I'd like it. Is it an actual whiskey barrel?
Yep. It's actually, I think it's a Heaven Hill. It's not like a Jack Daniels or anything. Jack Daniels are like $250 or something. I paid like $175 or something for this. But so here's what like I'm gonna get the recliners in here, right?
Right.
But eventually I'm gonna get like a little glass tabletop to go on top of this.
Oh sure.
And 4 bar stools. Right? I may actually I don't ever want to have a conventional dining table in my house. Like we may do something like this out there next to our little hammock swing thing we got. And so it's like if I want to have a pod, like right now in here, I'm only going to be set up to do 2 people podcasts.
You could have a Good Morning America type morning show.
You know, I
bring
thought
in 4 stools. And
yeah, exactly. See, exactly. So like what I'm thinking is like, slide the whiskey barrel to the center of the room, put the glass on top of it, pull the 4 bar stools in, and then we just set this mic right here in the middle.
Sure.
Like this is actually Joe Rogan does he's done 2 mobile podcasts, uses this same mic and this same recorder.
So
You know, like that's like the only things that I'm not doing that I'm still chasing is live broadcast and then screen capture. But like Morrilton, my studio I have set up there, I have 2 monitors. They've put software. I have a very nice computer. I got to get my Mac redone, man. It's old, and we just bought a new one, but it's for the business.
Sure.
So I'm just going to get mine stripped down so I can use it mostly for video editing.
Right. Well, and when you like singularly purpose it, it'll run.
For sure. For sure.
You should do on top of all your multiple podcasts. You should like pull out like a therapy session thing where you just pull someone in here and have them talk about their life and just like work through.
Bro, what do you think I'm doing right now? You're here to listen to my problems,
I know,
okay?
I know.
I'll listen to yours too.
You should have guests on that talk sometimes.
Like just get like a little couch. Yeah, we thought about putting a couch over there, but I've got this record player, and I'm gonna stain it to match this, and it's gonna look so good.
You should put that in front of this window.
Yeah,
light, you know.
Well, see, so
make it dark in here. Put the seating area in that.
See
corner.
which.
Let's rearrange this entire room right now.
See which curtains you like the best. That's a.
Nah. No. I'm okay with that one.
So you got kind of like bandana patterns.
Yeah.
I do like
Paisley.
those a lot too. Like Brad Paisley?
No, that's the design.
See, like, I want like 3 themes going on in here.
Sure.
Like Southern, Western, and Southwestern. You know, so like think like almost like Aztec, Mayan sort
Texas,
of
New Mexico
culture, like with all the skulls and stuff, and then like
Arizona.
exactly. You know, so we got little Mr. Indian over there. We got the boots. We got a peace pipe up here with the Red Ryder BB gun.
You got the coonskin hat.
Yeah, I had that since I was a little kid, dude. I got that at Magic Springs when I was like 5 years old.
Excellent. You've got a folded up American flag.
That was my grandpa's.
Is it the one for like from his funeral? Or is it just his flag?
It's just it's the one he raised up on his pole all the time.
I see.
Yeah. So this bookcase here came. It used to be a gun cabinet that my dad's dad made for him.
Okay.
And then we turned it into
a
bookshelf. It has a secret compartment on it. I'm not going to tell you where.
Yeah, obviously.
We're not on camera, so you know.
Ooh, gold.
Then my grandpa, whose flag that was, who's also passed away. He's the guy I did the documentary project on in school. I bet you remember. He left me his gun cabinet, and we turned it into a bookshelf as well, and they match.
Right. But there are guns in the house, so don't.
There's guns everywhere in the house. Okay.
Can come just break it in here,
dude. Okay, so we were at me and Colby and Cora and a couple other friends of ours were seeing Widespread Panic in Nashville, outside show 3 nights, and some like kind of overweight dude came like bumbling along. It's like during the intermission of the show hadn't started, and he was way beyond just fucked up. I mean, like, dude was gone, and he stepped on Cora's leg. And Colby, everybody was sitting down. So as soon as he stepped on Cora's leg, I started to stand up. I was like, "Are you okay?" Because I didn't know what this dude was doing, walking through. Because we had like a tapestry out, like kind of like a little pallet type thing, and he just like walked across the middle of our stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then he fell on Colby.
On Colby.
Yeah. And I jerked that dude up by the literal seat of his pants. And I had him, and I was about to toss him off this little ledge. And I probably would have got kicked out for that. But I was like, dude, you have fucked with the wrong jiu-jitsu belt. Like, dude, it jacked my adrenaline up because he was gone, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, are you like gonna be super like crazy to deal with? What is going on?
What kind of situation you're dealing with.
Because I had him and I said, keep walking. And he's all, yeah, no, okay. But dude, it jacked me up immediately because it went from him stepping on Cora to falling on Colby, and I was just like, I really, really like both these people, dude, and you just hurt both of them, and I'm not happy about it.
Not happy about it.
But
Did he have a gun? Is this the moral of the story? Oh
no. But yeah, no. The moral of the story we're talking is like, there's plenty of guns around here if anybody tries to break in.
Right, yeah.
Dude, the other night my dog just got trapped by the cats, and they were like mean mugging him and stuff, and he gets scared and starts barking. So like, dude, 2 nights in a row he was doing that. Turns out they were just in here glaring at him while he's in the living room. He's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, dude. So like, I get up with the 380, just like PP7 James Bond, GoldenEye style, dude. And come to find out, he's just like, I'm trapped in the bathroom. Please get me out of here. They won't let me move. Dude, those cats just freaking troll him.
Why doesn't he just eat the cats?
I know. He just wants to lick them and sniff their butt, dude.
I hosed a cat the other day. It was the best thing. I just shoot out in the backyard and I had a hose and I just
was it your cat?
No, it was I don't own a cat. Screw cats. No offense
they
to
are
cats.
so pretentious, dude.
But cats
so
are dicks, and they should all live out in the wild where they belong. That way they know that they're not all that.
Well, you know, I mean, they were worshipped
For all
in
the cat
ancient
lovers
Egypt.
listening, I don't care about your cat. Don't let it come near me. I will push it away from me. And the only reason I don't kick it away from me is because I have respect for the human who owns it.
What about Mrs. Kitty?
Who?
Mrs. Kitty.
Who?
My Siamese cat.
Oh, see, I won't kick your cat.
The skinnier of the two. And definitely the most pretentious.
Her figure isn't taken into account. It's her species.
Well, our other cat, Winnie, we just call her Wayne now. She identifies with Wayne.
I see.
Yeah, she's a gender fluid cat.
I see. When you take her to the vet, though, does he treat her like a female cat or a male cat?
You know, she doesn't get to go to the vet very often. Because we just take her and we're like, our cat's super fat and we think she has some fat tumors on her or something. And she's weird and meows all the time. They're like, she's just a fat house cat. So I'm like, okay, we're not breeding her back here anymore.
Ever.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so awesome you got your student loans paid off, dude. Like,
it was big. It was
like,
a big moment for me.
You know what? Like, that was a very...
What happened
That's
was,
a good strategy to take. I'm going to tell you. You've taken a good strategy.
You know, I thought I was a complicated person, but it turns out, as I've gotten older, I'm just really like I'm almost like a blunt instrument. Like, I have to do one thing at a time.
Dude, I'll say this. Seeing as I've known you for a long time, and there were even times when you and CJ rode to school with me. Remember those days? In the big brown van?
It may have happened.
But it's like, dude, I told Corey this last night because like she has to deal with a lot because I'm a super complex individual. Like, I'm like, no, I gotta do this podcast. Like, I'm not gonna be a happy person unless I get to do this. Oh, I gotta play music. Oh, I gotta be a history professor. Oh, I gotta own the best martial arts gym. Oh, I gotta get this black belt. Oh, I got this goal. I need to publish this paper. I need to make this happen. I want 3 studios, not 1. 1's not enough. I want to be able to record music. When are we going to start a band? Like, it's just, you know, it's like I'm always just like, but here's the thing, everything I just said, like, and like what I'll try to give to people is that's like, those are all my passions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think I had a lot of ideas about wanting to be complex and have a lot of things, and it turned, I think when I was growing up, and going through college, like the thing I loved the most was being with people and around people who had passions. Turns out people who have passions don't really find a lot of value in passionless people. So me hanging out in the same room is kind of difficult for a lot of people. And I've just lost a lot of people. They've moved and gone somewhere else. And so, you know, searching for the things that I want to do regardless of who I'm around has been very difficult. And it's only like 1 or 2 things.
I think so many people get hung up on like trying to follow someone else's traditional model.
Sure.
I tell like that's some of the things I tell because like I talk to so many lost and depressed like 19 to 23-year-old people that think they have to have all the answers, and I'm like, hey, you don't.
Right. Well, every time I start to feel that way, every time I'm like, man, I'm just not adding up to whatever the thing is, I just think, I'll just leave at some point, you know, like, if this doesn't work out, I'll just move to Georgia, and I mean the country, not the state, And I'll figure something else out. I'll learn a new language somewhere. I'll go do something
Dude,
else.
you mentioned this. Like, I think you teaching a foreign language would be such a
If I knew a foreign language, I would.
No, I mean, actually, I phrased that wrong. You teaching English to, like,
foreign,
Chinese or Japanese people.
That sounds like fun to me.
And it pays extremely well.
It pays okay.
Well, it pays probably, if I'm not mistaken, last time I checked, you would make what I make and do it overloads and teach a summer and all that shit in Walton. You might not get the same benefits with your salary.
Right.
But, bro, I'm going to tell you, too, like, I mean, Cora and I do good at the gym. That's all we've been doing for the last 5 years. Both of us are sole income. It got us this house and all these other things. You know, it's a slow trickle or whatever, but we've almost remodeled the entire house.
Right.
Like, that floor I showed you in there, we just have to put floors in the bathroom here, in our bedroom, and we've put all new floors in
the house. Looks nice. You guys are planning to be here for a while, apparently.
Yeah, or like even when we sell it, you know, we want to have great resale value. Like, unlike the people who owned it before us, like, we're investing in the property. Like, I bought this for my sister-in-law, and they rented it to like their brother and sister-in-law before we bought it, and they trashed it. Like, when we bought it, both the toilets were out. They had this weird thing set up with the water hose that caused all this undue pressure, because there's already water pressure issues. I had to have a water pressure regulator installed, because when I fixed, they had the water hose turned on all the time, paying like $80 water bills. So what they did is the water hose is under the deck. So they ran a water hose to the deck and installed this little thing to where, but then they just turned on, so that all times water was running. It was just open. Yeah. Right? So it bumped that, and the running toilets bumped their water bill up like $80, and they never said anything about it. But also, like once I got ahead of that and fixed it, I had to come back in and install this pressure regulator, and it almost blew my hot water heater, and I got a water leak right now. Like, and it's all due to these idiot renters. Right. And too, like, that's like I was talking to you about, like, dude, I am getting into the rental business within the next little bit. And then, like,
you know, there's a house turning into shit right across the street from my parents' house, and I would buy it in a heartbeat if I thought I could flip it and it become passive income within the next 5 years or so. I just don't see myself being able to do it.
Dude, I'm talking like 30-day flips. Cora's grandpa made his millions flipping houses and has been telling me his process forever, and I'm trying.
This house has just like been left. No one's lived in it in more than 20 years, and the current owner, it was her dad's house, and she just doesn't do anything. There's problems. New problems happen every day. There's holes in the roof. There's holes in the ceilings. There's probably creatures living in the attic for sure. You know, it gets broken into all the time by people who are looking for a place to lay low. Yeah, exactly. And somebody just needs to buy it and fix it. Like, it breaks my heart because it's a beautiful house, and it's prime real estate, if I do say so myself. Right across the street from where I grew up, so
dude, that's why I'm looking for stuff
and
like that.
Around the U of O, like people missed out so hard because the U of O just bought up tons of real estate from like personal citizens, and just started building housing when that entire neighborhood should have been cashing in on. Oh, look, I own a house. I will renovate it and rent it out to
students forever.
I will actually lease it to the college. How about that? That way you can roll it into your blah, blah, blah. How about that? But, yeah. I think there's many benefits that Clarksville missed out on by not being ahead of the curve with that college blowing up the way that it has.
Yeah. See, that's another thing I thought about is, like, if I teach history because I want to, but, like, if I ever do scale back to full time, which like it's not going to be any time now, I'm going to do this full time gig for probably about 10 years. That's my plan. I could scale back. I mean, I know people that adjunct at U of O, Tech, and Morrilton.
Oh yeah, just make the rounds, huh?
I know people that do it at like UCA, Morrilton, and Tech.
Oh yeah.
So, like, there's a guy named Dr. Flowers at our university. He knows Dr. DeBlack and Dr. Dykema. And dude, I so wish I would have had history of Christianity too, you asshole.
I know.
You took all the classes that I did not get to take that I wanted to take.
You just gotta be.
I bet you took contemporary philosophy too, didn't you?
What contemporary?
Charles P.
Dude, I took all of Bush's classes.
Contemporary philosophy is the only class I did not get to take.
Every class he offered, I took.
I want to say it's contemporary. I took ancient, medieval, modern.
For your information,
philosophy,
all 9
religion.
of them. I took all 9 of them.
Okay, see, so I had 9, but one of them was the special problems. Remember when I did that special problems, like contemporary moral issues?
I did Soren Kierkegaard.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think we did the same semester.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see Dr. Bush occasionally in the coffee house, and last time I saw him, he goes, Brian, if there's anything I can do for you, I'm like, dude, I want you to be on the podcast. I'm like, holy crap. I need to hear about your Green Beret knife instructing
days. Get that guy
days.
in here.
I will eventually, man. Like, bro, I got to get recliners for
and
you.
And you bring me in, I'll sit in the corner and I won't say a word. I'll just stare at him.
Remember like when...
How's his... What, good lord, she's got to be 20-something now.
He has 3 daughters, dude. But his
youngest
youngest
is
is
she's
like
12 when we were in.
Yeah, no, she's like, I want to say getting married or something.
What?
Somebody just told me the other day.
She like walked into class one day and she's like, she walks up to the board and like she says, okay, today we're going to talk about Aristotle. She's like 12. It's hilarious. Like 10 to 12. And we're all like, wait, what? And then he walks in, no. It was, it was one of those cheap laughs, but it was hilarious. And like, she just had the day off from school or something, so she's sitting up front the whole time.
Yeah, I remember him taking her
like,
to the junior high and stuff when we were there. Man, I was so that Bush is gone. Krieger retired. Then a few years later, Bush retired.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so...
Can I confess something? I think I would love to be a professor. It's just, I need someone to hold my hand through like the first, I don't know, let's say 2 months. Yeah, or a month. You just have somebody hold my hand.
Fortunately, I got this guy named Michael Booty, and like we go to concerts and stuff together. He's an English guy. He's taught there for 20 years. I train his kids in martial arts. And he has been such a great mentor to me, dude. Like, just in like the...
Physically, someone just hold my hand through like 2 or 3 classes and like and then just kind of push me, like riding a bike,
Dude,
and
like...
I could probably do it. It'd be no problem.
Like, he and I, so many times, like, dude, I was stressing out a couple weeks ago. And like, he came over by my office or like met me down by my car, like we're about leaving at the same time. He works in a different building. Dude just gave me a big old hug, or I gave him a big old hug, whatever. And I was like, dude, it's so good to see you, bro. Like, just seeing a friendly face getting me through, because I mean, what I tell people, it's like, I got the extra class and the committee work and like all the student interactions and the schedule I don't like, going straight from the university to the gym a couple of days a week. It's straight there, and it's, it's a lot. So, but man, you know what? I'm really just like anyone else that has a new routine. Yeah. New routines are hard.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing I tell my students, because that I empathize with them, is because, and the number one thing I remember being hard about college is that it was a new routine every semester.
Well, I think
until you figure out how to be a professional student.
If I had transitioned immediately, but as soon as I got done with my master's, I was just so done reading things. I was just so done, like, having, not class discussions. I will sit in a class, and if you want me to lead a class discussion and put forth content that is valuable, then I'm in. But, like, as far as, like, reading things and doing research, I was just so burned at that point.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing I got really good at in grad school was writing book reviews.
Man, I hate book reviews.
But I never read all the books. And I teach all, like Jeff Woods and some other professors really taught me how to skim.
Yeah.
Skimming's where it's at, for sure.
I once did a book review during my master's, and it was over the book A Black Liberation Theology by James Cone. I turned that paper in 3 days late, and you're supposed to lose a letter grade for each day late. Well, I got an A. My professor's like, this was too good to give anything other than an A.
Dude, isn't it fun? Like, I just did all my grading, and
that's like more important to me. That note and that paper is more important to me than my entire degree.
I do these on all my homework's on Whiteboard, and I do these 1 to 3 paragraph assignments. And if it's at like more of a like a broader end of a chapter type deal, conclusionary, I do a 3 to 5 paragraph response. One of my students wrote like the perfect response. It was 5 paragraphs. I could tell it was not plagiarized. And it's 10 points, right? And like, so like when people are like, and I'm like, it can't be more than 5 sentences.
But he wrote 5 paragraphs?
Yeah, so like my stip for them is like the 1 to 3 paragraph assignments, each paragraph has to be 3 to 5 sentences. If it's 2 sentences, no. If it's 6 sentences, no.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm like, you will say the facts. And I'm like, and if you have to go to a 6th sentence and it's a transitional sentence, I'm good with that. But if you were smart, you could just use that as the first sentence of your next.
Right.
You know, so anyway, that has worked out really well in getting them to manage small bodies of information.
Yeah, just structural stuff like that helps shape the way that people think, or at least get them to be able to think correctly.
I gave everybody that did 5 paragraphs 11 out of 10.
Nice.
Because because dude, I'm just big on following instructions. Right. And then the people too that did like let's say the 1 to 3 paragraphs, and they wrote like 1 3-sentence paragraph. I was like, this is too basic, way too basic.
Right.
You know, these sentences contain 5 words. Right. But it's interesting to see.
You could pack in all the information into just 3 most eloquently written sentences. Like, part of the point of the assignment is to be able to communicate clearly. And so the issue that I've always had is that I can concisely put forth ideas and arguments, but then 97% of the time, someone's going to read it and have no idea what I said. All the information is there, and I know exactly what it says, and like 3 people in the world will be like, yes. But everyone else will be like, I have this, they'll either misunderstand and go off on a tangent, or they'll be like, I have no idea what you said.
I got a friend like that. Like, he's trained in like other areas, not like academia. Well, he's a massage therapist, you know. So like sometimes like when I'm gonna like go off on a tangent, I have to give a brief history lesson.
Sure. People gotta know the context.
So, yeah. So like, but like,
makes sense.
Some like when some people outside of like, I don't know, the fields of arts and humanities don't give me that little brief tune-up of what they're talking about, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm so lost right now.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. It's interesting how that's shaped the way that I think and process information, which is why I think everyone should have a history degree. You can do whatever you want.
Well, Cora ended up with a history degree, right?
Who?
Cora.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she got a double degree in history and communication theater.
Who?
So... Yeah.
Communication theater?
Well, so she got, it was a communications degree with a theater option.
Ah.
You remember, like,
option.
Yeah. So like, you can't get an actual degree in theater, but like, you can get the communications degree tailored towards theater or tailored towards journalism, or So she went the theater route.
I think Jeremy did the journalism one.
Dude, what's Jerry been up to?
He works for the state, human resources, something or other. He trains people to work for DHS or something or other. I don't know. He works in Little Rock.
Does he like it?
No, I don't think he actually does. But it's a job.
That's the most important thing, bro. Whatever you do.
I think that he's actually way more preoccupied with his family. And I think that's been true ever since he met his wife and then started a family. Like, that's been the core of his, like, happiness and, like,
some people, they have to have that, dude. Yeah. That's what they want.
I think he could do literally anything at this point and just be fine with it. I don't think he cares too much about the job.
See, I'm way too much of a little bitch to like.
You are?
Yeah, dude. Because like I've been in a couple.
No, I am too.
Situations where I was like unhappily working or whatnot, and I was such a little bitch about it.
Yeah, my bosses will never hear this, so I can say this. For last spring and summer, it was fine because I really was like, okay, I'm here. I'm supposed to be at home for 1.5 years or 2, and I want to spend time with mom and dad. But really, the last 6 months, man, there have been days where I get in and 20 minutes into work, or maybe from the moment I wake up, I I have that like suffocating hot, claustrophobic, I gotta get the hell out of here feeling. And the only thing that keeps me from running is like the rational brain kicks in and says, okay, you're gonna take a timeout. We're just going to stop thinking and just do what we have to do today. But I will spend, I've had 6 hours of that before, and I don't know if it's like anxiety, what you want to label it, but that's been my job, and my job's not terrible. My bosses are fantastic people.
What shop are you working at?
Well, it's called Hearst Welding, so hopefully that gets back to them, but they're the most fantastic bosses that anyone can have. They're like so flexible with me, like they let me go off and have a heart attack in California, they let me take off for a month and, you know, go to Jerusalem in the UK, they let me take off 3 weeks to not hike the Highland Trail because I hurt my knee 2 days into it. You know, stuff like that. They're always like, hey, can I have this? Yeah, sure, whatever.
That is true. And that's important for morale.
It's a fantastic job. It's just, it's not what I want to do. And so, like, I get in and it's been great to have to, like, beat my will into submission to something. It's like, no, you have to do this. You have to go to work. And I think it's been feeding my soul, like, okay, let's find a job we like. Which I think some people go through when they're 20, you know, and they don't go to college, and they're like, I hate working at this factory or this grocery store. I got to find something else. And it either drives them to education or to find a better job. And I think that's what I'm going through now, again, in my newborn, you know, like it's like I'm 18 again for some reason, financially and otherwise. But, yeah, some days are terrible, and it has nothing to do with the job. It just has to do with my soul not wanting to be there. You know, it's none of this stuff feeds my soul, you know.
See, yeah, that's like back to the passion thing for me too. It's like
acquiring skills.
I feel so much more purpose in all the things I do because I always like pretext that too with like when I'm telling people these things, I'm like, yes, follow your passions. I follow my passions, and look at me, look at all I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm like, now, don't you think I'm not being a miserable, stressed out motherfucker sometimes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like, there's no way that you can go. Yeah. It's just the way it is. It's the virtue of
this job in Conway, or if I were to try and apply at Morrilton, like I'd be a wreck. Like I'm a kind of nervous wreck. Are they going to accept me? Am I going to get the job? Am I going to be good enough for the job? Am I going to let them down? Like. It's anything that's new, even if you've dreamt about it, and it's like, man, I would love to do that. Getting the reins, and some people might be wired differently, but for me, anything new like that, I'm just a nervous wreck because I'm maybe insecure about myself or whatever it is. I know that giving me 30 minutes in it, like public speaking, you get me 5 minutes into public speaking, I'm there. This is my living room. I live here now.
That's why you got to be a face-to-face lecturer, man.
Well.
That's why, like, I wanted to do online classes. Morrilton's not about that life. But,
it's about being prepared for the lecture, right? So, I don't do too great researching on my own. I love getting together with people and discussing stuff and then coming and presenting something, you know, that, like, I've talked to in conversation with other people. But that's, you know, my best lectures or my best presentations are things that are in my bones already. They're things that I've had conversations over drinks and food, and I've ranted about 4 different ways, and then I'm like, no, okay, so this is the core of it. I've gone back and rethought it all out. It's like, okay, this is, you know, I probably have 7 or 8 things in my repertoire that I could go and talk about that I've really mulled over to a certain extent. That's what's intimidating to me, is like, I can't go through that process every lecture, for every lecture, you know?
Yeah, dude, there's some, like, I've noticed that, but, like, Civ 2, like, it's like my 3rd semester teaching it.
Yeah.
And I'm not able to make as many changes this semester as I want, but, oh, man, I figured out how I'm going to get them. So, like, I don't have any time to make PowerPoints, dude.
Right.
Like, I work the whole 6 hours on there every day. But, I'm going to make the students make PowerPoints next semester for a grade.
And then you just
I'm going to get real particular about what I want. I'm going to say, I want these key terms. I want you to pull an image from your textbook. It's open access on the internet. And you're going to make this PowerPoint. And I'm going to divide it up. Like, I'm going to, like, give them, like, 10 key terms and, like, you know, all I want is a slide with key terms, and then 4 pictures, and then another slide.
Our teachers didn't do the same thing to us. Like, you know, like, what we're going to do is this assignment, and then, you know, for the next 4 years, they're using your essay as the example, or your whatever. You know?
Yeah.
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 Nothing wrong with that.
Dude, how's Dr. Tarver doing, man?
I think he's okay. I think they listen to parts of your podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah, that might be a thing. I'm not sure how far they get into your podcast. But.
Yeah, like I talked to him a while back because I was just like going through some like moments of clarity type deal about like people who are important to me and all this, which Dr. Tarver is super important to me, man.
Yeah.
I really love that guy, and so like I contacted him and I was like, hey, you know, I still feel super bad about the way things shook out with Dr. Gleason. So
other things shake out with Dr. Gleason?
Horribly.
Between you and her?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you do? That's not a person you want to piss off.
Oh, I know. But the thing is like the way she handled it in my mind turned more of the people there against her than me. Like, because, yeah, I remember I was working for the K-12 initiative. Mm-hmm. I was through the dean's office, but she was like all the money behind it.
Yeah.
And I produced 156 DVDs or whatever, which she took all the credit for at the end of one academic year, by the way, when literally she had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Sure.
I mean, literally, I filmed them, I edited them, I uploaded them, I made the database, and I never even got a nod. But when I started transitioning out of working for her and was going to go full-time at the gym, she was mad that I was going to be not working for her. So she started really like tightening the reins down. Like, she sent an email out to all the professors. Remember I had that little office next to the dean's office?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Sent an email out to all the professors telling them not to talk to me because I was working and I was busy. And it was like, but the thing about that is like, the way they had it set up, it's not like this. Like, it was like if I filmed somebody, I had to plug the camera and the little mini tape into the computer by FireWire in real time upload the video. Mm-hmm. So if we did a 1 hour film session, it took 1 hour to upload. So I was always working on my thesis, which I completed, by the way, and knocked it out of the water. I didn't have to take the comms exam or anything. And I even had to take a semester off to have that hernia surgery.
Yeah.
But one day I went down to talk to Jeff Woods, who was my thesis advisor at the time before he became dean. And I was down there and I was walking out of the history department and I was about to leave because it's close to the end of my shift. Film was uploading in the office. And Dr. Gleason, I guess, had come down there to say something and realized I was like down in the department, you know. And she's like, well, you're just going to have to work on your thesis on your own time. And I was like, well, you know, Dr. Gleason, I you know, by definition, am allowed to do that here. And part of my job is I get to work on my studies. Yeah. And, you know, when I leave here, I go...
Is it a work study position?
Well, I was a graduate assistant for the dean.
Right, yeah.
Which is, I mean, basically a student worker.
Yeah, you've been assigned to this thing, but like...
Yeah, so I was working on a project, but like, you know, like I was also working on my master's thesis, and like, I think it all boiled down to her being just upset that I was reliable and wasn't going to be working there. Or maybe she saw that, because I dwindled my hours down first too, because I'm working like 20 hours, I dwindled it down, and she just resented all that. And that day she came in, it was like 10 or 15 minutes till I was about to leave, and I was telling Cora I was going to go back down and wrap some stuff up. And she walked in and like started like right there in front of the history desk, started kind of chewing on me, like bitching at me basically, and told me I couldn't work on my thesis anymore, and then told me that she was my boss. And I was like, no, Dr. Tarver's my boss, and I've done nothing but work super hard for you, and I don't deserve. And she's like, she was talking in a super shitty tone to me, and I kind of got a little bit of a tone back, and then she called me out on having a tone with her, and I was like, I quit. I'm done being under your thumb. Right. And she was also that professor too that was always like, oh, here, let me pay you a little cash under the table for doing this extra, blah, blah, blah. And I always turned it down.
Always.
And she would always, like, make me take it or give it to Dr. Tarver. So things just turned out horribly. I wrote this little apology letter and put it in her mailbox after the fact and everything. Because, like, I walked out and called Tarver, and I was like, I just quit. Dr. Gleason and I just had an argument. And she flipped out and I flipped out, and I'm never talking to her again. And he was like, please come back and finish this project, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because I'd been training other people to do what I'd been doing, you know? Yeah. But, like, I just never felt good about the way things turned out. And I, like, contacted Dr. Tarver, and I'm like, this is pretty much, like, one of the only things I have on my conscience that's not fixed.
Yeah, that's rough, man. I mean,
and he gave me some words of wisdom, but then basically told me that Dr. Gleason was not going to give me an audience to accept my apology in person.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
Yeah, it is. Because she'll live with the hate, not me.
Yeah. What do you do though? Like when someone who's obviously in a position higher than you starts taking that tone, and you're like, bitch, you know, like what? Who are you to talk to me this? So you really do have to play that. You do have to be the bigger guy and just be like, okay. And then you walk to the person above them.
What was so funny is I was literally 10 days away from being out of there, you know? And I was just like, I was miserable because, like, I wanted to already be out of there. The gym had already become so big, and I was already so busy with that's like, I had to be out of there to do the gym full time, you know? It's just, that's the phase I was in. And she really resented that. She was mad that I wasn't going to be working for her anymore. And because, like, I think I did so much, and maybe all this is my interpretation of it.
Yeah, I don't know why she'd be mad. I don't know why.
Well, because she did not want me to stop working for the K-12 initiative.
Do it?
Well, just she'd have to deal with other students, like the other students that were in there doing it didn't do as good of a job, and they were different, and she and I had a lot of rapport, but man, I always at first I was mad, you know, so I was like, I'm not apologizing to her. And I went down to Dr. Moses one time, and like I needed one class in grad school to graduate, and it was going to just be like a special problems or whatever, and he refused to work with me over it. And I was like, that's fine, I don't like you anyway. Like, you're mean. So, okay, no big deal. But, you know, I wrote her like a little apology letter and stuck it in her mailbox like before I got out of there. And, you know, I was just like...
Moses turned you down because you and Gleason had a dispute?
Because we had a dispute, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you can't, I mean, academia is this big, nepotistic...
Well, here's the thing, though, like, and I will say this, and I hope this gets back to some of these people, is like, Diane Gleason talks shit about every single person we ever filmed. And that was another thing that bothered me, and I brought up to Tarver, is like, look, I've had to get carted to the Energy Building to film with her while she smokes cigarettes. You know, I've had to listen to her down everybody I care about within the department, yourself included, and talk about what a shitty researcher or lecturer you are and how she would do things better. And it's like, it was an everyday thing. It was just constant pessimism and negativity. And she was like that. Yeah. You know?
You wouldn't like meeting the woman. You wouldn't think that.
You wouldn't.
She's just got the nicest, most southern, genteel demeanor.
That there's that side too. Yeah. You know, so it was
very matter of fact, and like you respect the woman as soon as you meet her.
Dude, yeah, exactly. But I guess it's behind the scenes. I remember one time we were filming Jeff Woods, and he misspoke. Right. And we definitely did need to cut it off. I could have edited it out. It was no big deal. He accidentally said like World War II instead of Vietnam or something like that. Sure. Like he just misspoke, and she stopped him, and we started over, and he was just like, "Oh, sorry about that. Wow, I did. Weird." At the time, that was her boss. Yeah. And the shit that she said about him after the fact. Yeah. Really upset me. Well, Jeff Woods is still training with me at my gym and is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but it's like, it was that kind of stuff, you know? And it was like, oh, hey, you know.
Well, I I would shit can you too if you were gonna leave and I thought I wasn't gonna have any power over you, and you have all this crap that I've said about people.
Well, see, the thing is like on the books, I really did work for Dr. Tarver.
Yeah, I mean, you worked for the dean's office.
I was Dr. Tarver's graduate assistant, and because the budget had to be paid through his how they had it set up on paper, whatever. But it's like
you use that to your advantage. You say like you get to use that as a shield and be like, look, you're not actually my boss. This is my boss, and so if you're not happy with what I'm doing, you can go ask him.
That's basically how it went down. And as soon as I said that, she just lost her shit.
Yeah.
And I like Dr. Tarver did more for me than anyone, man. And like every time I think about it, it almost makes me a little emotional. Like I could really love that dude. Like, bro, like I mean, there are times like I would not have eaten lunch, if that dude wasn't like, what are we having for lunch today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I'd walk over to Which or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that dude took care of me, and I know he took care of you too, dude.
Yeah, similar.
And I don't know why. I don't know what he saw in us.
Yeah, I like that guy.
And I don't know why, too. Like, I always felt like him and Woods both, like, with, Woods just, like, hated the way everything went down with that.
He wasn't there when she came and talked to you.
No, but he knew about all of it, and he made a comment once that made me feel better about it. It was just like, look, that was wrong. And I was younger and I handled it incorrectly. I was a little disrespectful. And like what I told Tarver is I said, hey, maybe then I made some excuses for that. And, I feel bad and I just want to get it off my conscience. And he gave me the greatest advice.
She's like twice your age. I don't think you were the one needing to be, I mean, like you're an adult, so you got to be an adult. But like in the situation, you're not. The social expectation is not for you to be the most mature one there.
Oh, I know, dude. Well, Dr. Tar, I always just want to pull it up and read it to you, but man, he gave me some of the greatest life advice.
Yeah.
At that time, because I messaged him, he goes, Brian, I'm going to look into this based off any correspondence I had when I look back in my email from that time. I don't think that Dr. Gleason is going to want to talk to you at all. And I was like, okay. And then he goes, the place where you're at right now, messaging me about this, he's like, trust me, that's good enough. And kind of what I told him is like, I'm not expecting anything out of this, other than me feeling like I carry less of a burden. Because man, just a while back, like I kind of realized I was like, okay, I want to do, like I've superseded and accomplished all my goals. I accomplished way more than I was set out to accomplish before I was 30. And now I'm planning on my next 5 and 10 years. And like I was just like, I cannot carry around some of this hate and baggage and regret.
I would say that the majority of the time, since we're in my wheelhouse now, forgiveness has a lot more to do with us letting go of something.
See, so that's where I was like, I let go of that. And like, so basically,
forgiveness is most of the time more about us.
The conversation with Tarver, even though it was Facebook Messenger, did more for that than anything. Because I was already at a place where I'd let it go.
Yeah.
And just knowing, whether he did or not, but just knowing that like, if he did go to Gleason and say that I was like, whatever, made me feel better. But I don't know. I felt like she couldn't get along with anybody for any substantial amount of time. Like she did a lot for me, but I just, like I saw her say and be some ways that I just...
Isn't that crazy? Like, I don't think people get to see these sides of people, but like you go to school and like your second grade teacher or your professor in college and you have this view of them from class, and then you grow up and you find out that she was having an affair. Or that she...
With the Agra teacher.
Well, yeah, exactly. Something crazy like that. And it's just like, wait a minute, what? Like, middle school teachers, grade school teachers, like, step out on their wives? That blows my mind. Like, what do you mean? And it just, like, working in grade school as a substitute teacher, and in that year, and then years later finding out that people who I looked up to and respected as educators, their personal lives are shit. And I just think, what? Like, you did what? How? Why? Why would you do that? during the time that I was there too. So it kind of felt like he was behind my back, but I really had nothing to do with the equation. But it changes the way you.
Yeah, everybody makes mistakes, dude. Like sometimes, like I'll say, like not very.
You just expect the adults that were adults when you were a kid to be good adults, and then they end up being shitty adults, and you're like, I don't know how to function now.
You know what?
The bar's so much lower than I thought it was.
This too. So like, never would I like. I could see you and I becoming like better friends as we grow older.
I love this bear rug, by the way. My foot is loving it.
I just bought it. I think I'm gonna turn it. I think I'm gonna turn it this way. Like I'm just sitting here thinking about how I'm gonna redo some of these chords after we get done with this podcast.
There are no chords. He means there's no chords.
What chords?
It's very
for people listening.
Well put together.
What do you think of the artwork, man?
I love it. I love the artwork. I think you got to get some more of the artwork on the camera when you're doing these.
Yeah, this wall here. So like I'm thinking about doing a Life Unraveled logo.
Yeah.
Like a 2x2 sits off the wall.
You just put like a metal circle and then make different magnets for your different podcasts and just slap the logo for the different podcasts.
Dude, I am doing 5 different podcasts if you think about it. So I'm doing Sports Unraveled, it's like all MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing. Music Unraveled, Life Unraveled, which is what we're doing right now. After the show, movie and TV show reviews. And that was 4. History Unraveled, which I haven't. Dude, so imagine, bro.
Huh?
If you work at Morrilton, like I have this same setup in my office.
We could just do.
We could podcast all the time.
I could come in after a lecture and be like, listen to this crap. It does sound excellent.
I mean, I'm talking about Darius the Great right now, not Darius. Darius. Yeah. Like I showed him a little mini documentary by this Peter Weller guy I like to listen to, and he was calling him Darius, and I was like, pause. It's pronounced Darius. And then somebody's like, yeah, I heard, you call him Tutmosey, but I heard on a documentary they call him Tutmoses or Tutmos, and I was like, it's Tutmosey.
Yeah, just.
Don't you question me.
Don't you dare.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's crazy is how...
and I love that man. But there's no way that man... He's like, what, from Tennessee?
Memphis.
Memphis, right? That's where he was before he came here. And then he was here.
Back when he was working with Elvis at the movie
almost
theater.
60 years, right? Oh, good Lord. There's no way that he was pronouncing those names like accurately. I mean, maybe he was, but like,
dude. Okay, so
there's just no way that
check this out. One of the translations of Mosey or Moses, is either son of or brother of. So like,
this is a translation from Egyptian.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So, dude, I've been hardcore. As a matter of fact, I just got. I had ate lunch with my mom today. We got some family stuff going on. I was talking to her.
How was your mom?
She's doing good, man. Okay. Got some drama going on with my sister, and she's getting a divorce.
I forget that you have a sister sometimes.
Well, I'm not claiming her right now.
Well.
So, my mother's other child.
I'll continue to not have contact with her then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, she brought me my dad's Bible that he always read to me when I was a kid.
Sure.
It's like super small print. You can't even see it now anymore. But that, and then just like a book of like almost like biblical archaeology books. My dad had this set. It's like almost like a biblical archaeology encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And but dude, when I was with Krieger, I did special problems on the Israelites in Egypt. And bro, I've been back down that rabbit hole super hard. But dude, do you remember how excited we would get when we'd be in ancient Egypt, and then he's like, and this could possibly be the time where Joseph enters. And then he would go off on the whole Joseph story, and then he would come back to the expulsion of the Hyksos. Yeah. And then he'd be like, side tangent off on the United Hebrew Monarchy.
Right.
Oh man, dude, do you remember that one day where he just did the whole Hebrew monarchy, all the way through Rehoboam?
That was good stuff.
I just did that, bro.
Well, I mean, so imagine my surprise when I'm talking to Jews and they're completely okay with some rabbi somewhere said something in recent years / in the last 60 years that Moses and the Exodus probably didn't happen, but that's not what's important. And I'm like, all my Jewish friends who are rabbis are just okay with this, and I'm just like, I'm wrecked over here. Like, how can you?
No, I have two theories on that.
You've just unhinged yourself from. Okay, we don't actually have a physical history as a people, but that doesn't matter because the fiction that we've created or that someone created for us before is what's bound us for thousands of years, and so that's what's important. I see that.
I feel like the expulsion of the Hyksos was the Exodus.
Could be, yeah.
Or there's another possibility that Hatshepsut was the daughter of Pharaoh who raised Moses. That's the only two possible theories. So like Joseph would have had to have come into Egypt in an intermediate period.
Yeah.
Like, so there were 6 Hyksos kings in that intermediate period. The very last one was named Apapi. The first one was named Sheshta.
This is where you get into like Akhenaten, right? Where like, they start having like
Akhenaten comes actually later, but there is a theory that
theories, right? Because Akhenaten made everyone very monotheistic. And
there's a theory that Akhenaten was either Moses or Joseph, but that part lines up much later with. Yeah. Man, I'm so fascinated by what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
That's like my favorites.
You know what just blew my mind because mine's a lot more language centric now. Is like you were talking about Moses or Mosey.
So like, Tutmosis III, the greatest warrior king ever, who took and that would have been Moses' stepbrother.
Right, could have been.
And the fact that it's Tutmosis and then he just dropped the Tut.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so his name is Moses, right? And so is Moshe, a loan word from Mitzrayim? Like, that's crazy to me. Mitzrayim being Egypt. Like, is Moses an Egyptian name that gets pulled into, because there are Moshes now, like little Jewish Moshes.
Maybe we should ask our friend Jean-Francois Champollion.
Perhaps.
See what Giovanni Belzoni or Sir Flinders Petrie has to say about it.
I'll probably just call one of my friends. Or look it up on the internet.
Yeah, nah, but dude, I've been going down these rabbit holes hard.
Just look at Wikipedia or something.
Persian Empire's happening on Monday.
Yeah.
Then we're going straight to Alexander.
When you do Rome,
so I haven't done it yet.
This is what frustrates me about all teachings on Rome is that no one talks about the class system in the kingdom during the kingdom period. No one talks about the kingdom period. Everyone just goes straight to Roman Empire or straight to Roman Republic. They mention Republic as like some kind of footnote. It was a Republic, and then Caesar, and then we're in. Are
you going to come talk about that?
I would like to. I guess
that could be your guest lecture talk, dude.
Which one? Talk about the early kingdom, the kingdom of Rome.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, and I bet we could do this. I bet if we can line this up, I mean, it'll be 2 or 3 weeks before I get to there. But if you do on a Monday, Wednesday, for example, I have 2 Civ 1 sections. One at 11 and one at 2. Mm-hmm. So we could hit the first one, maybe go eat some lunch or podcast or something like that.
I would love that. There's a few things like that make me nervous. One, as always, like I've started overextending myself again. This is me all through high school and college, right? Like I'm in a million different places and I loved it. And by the grace of God, it all worked out somehow. Like I had time and space to do it all. And it's not just I have a job, because I can probably take off early and come down, and that wouldn't be a problem. But I'm also writing for Michael, and that deadline is coming up, and I've really got to start turning things into him. I apologize.
Dude, I should talk to Tarver. I got to start getting some publications, bro.
Yeah.
Because,
well, I'll tell you this right now. Like, he was really struggling earlier this year to find people to write actual entries for the encyclopedia. So,
Cora and I would both be interested. I just need it from resume
If you asked him, I guarantee you he'd have stuff to throw your way. That, like, as far as entries into the encyclopedia, I haven't even asked
Cora already has. Cora has published on Montezuma II. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can almost guarantee that he's still needing help. He's still needing people to write essays, to write entries into the encyclopedia.
Yeah. Man, do you remember the guy that I brought in through the World History Association. He was a friend of Dr. Tarver's, and he was one of the only martial arts historians in the United States.
I think I remember
Dennis Gainty.
Something about that, but I don't.
Dude, he had a brain aneurysm and died out of nowhere like a couple years back. Yeah, I'm super sad. Like, literally, because, like, I got to work with him. He was on my thesis committee. I got to be around him. And then he just, like, up and passed away. He's one of the only martial arts historians in the United States. There's a couple others, Don Drager and, I can't remember the other guy's name. There's Svinth, Svinth, I think it's. But there's two guys, and they're OGs. Dennis Gainty was, like, you know, cutting his teeth in some really cool areas, and they were similar areas as I was interested in. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, super unfortunate. I did have a signed copy of his book though.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, people dying left and right. I don't know what that's about. Like what Burt Reynolds just passed.
Yeah.
Damn. Age. Yeah. We're getting old, I think.
By Burt Reynolds, do you mean Ted Ferguson?
No.
Have you seen that episode of Saturday Night Live?
That would be,
Will Ferrell?
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be Will Ferrell acting as Burt Reynolds, so.
Or no, was Will Ferrell Alec Trebek?
Oh, yes. Will Ferrell is Trebek, and then it's,
who? Norm Macdonald?
The main show, Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Who,
Ted Ferguson.
Yeah, who's giving him
Your answer is Ted Dude. I forget. Okay, so like I sent my buddy Michael Booty, who went to we took him to see Widespread Panic for the first time. It was a 3-night show. They played 65 songs. This dude loses his mind.
That was the 4th time he's talked about this concert.
Right. So we just saw it a couple. But like I sent him this meme, and it was like somebody kissing the hand of Vito Don Corleone and The Godfather. And it was like when you take your friend to their first panic concert. And he sent me back. Have you seen The Godfather? Yeah. So you know when Luca Brasi's outside like practicing the speech, and then he goes in, he's like, "May your child be a masculine child." Like he messes up the speech like twice in front of the Don, and he's outside like practicing it over and over. Like I sent him that meme, and he sends me back. He's like, "And may your first child be a masculine child." I'm like, dude, I'd die. But, dude, when you come up to Morrilton, we gotta, like, go talk to Marilyn or Judy and just be like, this dude has this degree, what converts? Because I mentioned this guy earlier, I didn't finish what I was saying. There's a guy named Thomas Flowers who's older, and he went back and worked with Dykema and the Black, and just got enough hours to teach upper-level history, which is like 12.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's really...
It's like 3 courses.
So let's say that most of your stuff converts over to teach philosophy, and you need one other grad course to teach history. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I think there's a lot of... But, like, just getting in the know. And, like, man, like, one of my students came in the other day and was like, well, what are the odds of me getting a job at, like, a university, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I was like... This is the easiest job I ever got. Yeah. Like, quite literally...
I literally tripped into this.
Turned in my resume and started working adjunct, and then, like, after a semester, they're like, full-time job's open, you want it?
Full-time job? Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I did have to interview, and I went up against 5 other people, I'll say, and they chose me.
I guess I'm worried, right? Like, I'm worried that if I put all my eggs into that basket, because I really am an all eggs in one basket kind of guy, and I'm trying not to be that way financially. But as far as like all my energy and intention goes, like I'm really trying to push for Conway. And
dude, Conway is closer to Morrilton than Russell.
So I'm saying, like, if I got Conway and 2 weeks in, I'm like, well, this isn't going to take up that much time.
Well, I mean, even if it did, dude, like, I teach an overload. You don't have to. Yeah. My job is 180 days a year. Mm-hmm. It can be more if I want. Yeah. But it's never less. It's 3 hours of student contact per day. That's the requirement. Mm. That could be in the classroom, and it's 15 hours of office hours. Those are the requirements. So, like, I got to carry 15 office hours and teach at least 5 classes. That's it, though. Mm. It's really not that bad. So, I mean,
And, like, after a semester, there's a rhythm that you get into, so it's not that bad. that.
Yeah.
Once I get that one really, really shitty semester underneath me where everything went wrong.
Well, and two, man, let's say if you just got your foot in the door adjuncting.
Yeah.
Because that was good for me. I adjuncted 2 classes, one regular semester, one summer, and it was Civ 2 both times. And now I'm teaching Civ 2 again, and it's easy.
Well, I think I'd like to adjunct at tech. That way when I completely fall on my face in a pile of shit.
Dude,
I can just ignore that and then come to Morton.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm ready to.
I just like the feeling I get, and I don't really know the guy, and I don't want to go asking for favors and stuff, but I've talked to him several times. It's like, I don't think David Blanks is going to hire me or you, either one, to be an adjunct at tech.
Yeah, he's not really into that. Although tech is getting tons of applications because it's a recognizable state school. And so everyone with a PhD is sending in their stuff because they have a PhD and know where to go. Yeah.
Exactly. And so they can, So, whereas Morrilton's they are trying to not hire people with PhDs.
Right, they're trying to save money.
But dude, I mean, it's just been such a good thing to have that side income doing something else I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Really is.
If I don't get back into academia soon, I will start to fall behind. My brain will just start to decay, surely.
Bro, you're an academic. You're going to have to do something.
Well, I'm a people person, so I can't be an ivory tower academic. It kills me.
Yeah.
It kills me. I'm not a bookworm. I don't sit in the library and do research for 6 hours a day and then go home and feel satisfied. I have to go to the bar. I have to be in the library with people. I have to, and I think, ironically, if the people teaching at universities model that kind of lifestyle a little bit more. That's not the people in your universities. The people in your universities are people who are happy to sit 8 hours in their office and read about things. And I can't do that. I
can't either, man. With where I am now, I go there and, because I'm busy or whatever with the schedule, I work every second that I'm there.
Yeah.
For sure.
You walk in and it's I gotta get
There's definitely going to be some naps once I get down in my rhythm. I'm trying to figure out how to fit a lounge couch in there. But I might have laid out on my yoga mat under my desk and watched Netflix and took a 20-minute nap once. But, my back was hurting.
Right.
I needed to lay on a flat surface.
That makes sense.
But, man, the community college ball game is totally different.
I guess a clincher would be, is there a bar in town?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a wet county. It's a sweet little barbecue joint with a nice bar. Not like they serve alcohol or whatever. But it's just got a nice bar set up. You can just go sit at the bar. Dude, when I have a tabletop for this and can throw it out with 4 bar stools,
we're all coming and drinking bourbon.
Set it in the middle.
And doing.
See, I'll say this, bro. I almost have not drank at all since that one incident.
Are you talking about the birthday party?
Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't had a drink in almost 4 months, and I actually never plan on drinking again.
You do plan on never?
No, I don't. I'm not. A, it makes me feel like shit, and B, if anything goes wrong, I might beat the shit out of you. That's how I feel about it.
I feel like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, maybe, but I feel like I've done maybe way more than any of the dudes that were at that table.
Yeah, I think that's what you're doing wrong. Is that you're doing way too much of it.
Yeah, but I will say, dude,
and mixing your poisons
even a couple of beers makes me feel off the next day.
Interesting. Yeah, alcohol's a poison. You're poisoning yourself. The only reason that I ever drink is because I'm with other people, and it's a social.
And that's what it was. I didn't drink all through college.
Mm-hmm.
I did a little bit after I started turning 23, got my shit back together.
I didn't start drinking until I was 25.
Yeah, and then that's probably about the time I started drinking again. I was just drinking Coronas, Patron. That's my weapons of choice.
I've never drank Corona.
But man, I kind of over it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make me. It makes me feel bad. Is the number one thing. And there's been just a time or two where the environment got a little bit out of my grasp. Not just with that situation.
Right, yeah.
Somebody just like the effed up dude falling on our jiu-jitsu pallet. It's dude, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
Just so happened it wasn't the dude that accidentally bumped into us and super nicely apologized. It was in the wrong place. It's the person at our table.
Yeah.
And
you're with the
and then that made me be in the wrong place.
Right, yeah.
You know, but I'm gonna say, dude, if I wouldn't have been drinking, I never would have acted that way.
Well, I mean, you'd have had to act a way. Maybe not quite that way.
I would have been able to mitigate it a lot
better. Yeah.
More calmly, because it was
that was me in high school, though. High school and college, I was around people. I won't say you guys, but now you know that I mean you guys. And I just never wanted to not have my wits about me. There were just too many things that could go wrong. And like, in high school, that's when you're supposed to let loose and do stupid shit and like not care about consequences. But I was just like, nah, I'm okay being in control of myself. I think I will continue to do so, you know. And I just had no reason to go out drinking. Like, I love being around people, even people who are drunk. Don't care. I actually enjoy that a lot. Like, some of the best memories of my life are being over at Brandy and Drew's while everyone's drinking and I'm not. So, but yeah.
I was over there a time or two doing that.
I continue to refuse to not be outside of my head. Like, I've lost some control over my body before, you know, but my mind's always mine. That's, you know, I've gone overboard once. There was a punch bowl of Irish Vandal, and apparently 6 cups of that is too much after an old fashioned.
What do you mean by old fashioned?
I don't know. It was a whiskey bar. There was a lot of alcohol. I spent an hour in the backseat of a car trying not to piss myself or throw up. No. No. It's a drink. It's a cocktail.
Maybe that's where that old fashioned gets its name.
I hope not.
Me too.
Yeah.
A little too date rapish.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, I never want to go back there. When you're in the backseat of a car, just try not to throw up or piss yourself for like 45 minutes trying to get from downtown LA back up to Pasadena, and then you wake up, you get to sleep around 4. You've just gotten in from a flight, you're dehydrated from the flight, you're drinking, you're drunk, you're in trouble, you get to your apartment, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, you get to sleep, your friends come over at 9, we're going to Yosemite, and then you drive 6 hours in a car, hungover.
I've been in similar states. It's not fun.
You just say, you know what? I don't need to drink that much ever again. I'm okay. And you make that decision. Some people, they just, like, now tequila, blah. And I'm like, why? Well, I mean, like, I'm fine with just 2 shots. And
it's weird.
It was fun because we all did it, and now we're talking. And you have alcohol in you, so now you're okay opening up about things. Or there's something about everyone drinking alcohol. Like, we could all be sitting around a table, and somebody say something stupid, and we're all like, no, that's not appropriate. We all take a shot. It's now appropriate to say that stupid thing. I think 90% of drunk is just social etiquette. It's only okay to do these things when you're holding or are around alcohol. I'm not sure why.
It's weird. It was never the stuff like the hungover and like I gotta piss really, really bad or throwing up or whatever that made me not want to drink, dude. It was like the 1 or 2 times that I kind of raged out.
Yeah.
Like that I might really try to rein my temper down and be a chill ass bro more and more every year.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's just like I know a couple of times that I've experienced that. I feel like if I wouldn't have been inebriated, I wouldn't have acted that way. And maybe that's a cop-out bullshit excuse.
No.
But like I just kind of correlated it, and I was like, that's why I got to stop doing this, because you know, it's just like you do have less of a rein on your mental faculties.
You do.
And it is bad for your body. It is poison. It's like,
well, I mean, within reason, right? Like they say red wine's good for you because of antioxidants or something.
Yeah, you know, and it's back to that classical, I think it's a biblical
Sophrosine.
Everything in moderation. All things in moderation.
Yeah, it's an Aristotle thing, and Sophrosine. The golden mean.
You know, I tell people this a lot too. Benjamin Franklin, the deist, when asked about ethics and morals, said, imitate Jesus and Aristotle.
And Aristotle. Yeah, Aristotle was boring.
Way too logical.
I don't know.
What is this 5th element he speaks of too?
We should do things on, you know what we should do, a podcast subsection of shit Jesus said that shouldn't be okay. we've spent the last 2,000 years reading the Bible, or the last 500 years reading the Bible as Protestants, and we've just grown up hearing these things. Like when he calls the Canaanite woman a dog, we're just okay with it. We're completely okay with it.
The history Unraveled, bro. Yeah. So like we should do that. We should do like a history of Christianity run.
We should, because there are so many things in the New Testament that should offend you about what Jesus is doing, and then you should have to.
And how did they get away with mashing together the Old Testament and the New Testament?
Just like putting it there, like, well, that's a composition question, isn't it? Not so much a history. I mean, it's a historic. Everything's a historical question. We can talk about anything you want, but
like. Too, like, I don't know if I talked about this with somebody today. I don't know if it's been us since we've been podcasting, but I have some Jewish friends, and they don't even believe Jesus was a real person. They think he was an invention of the Roman government to solve all these problems.
Sure.
Josephus worked for the Roman government.
Sure, yeah. And Josephus is a main source that, like, a main historical, non-biased source.
I just found out my dad has, is it about Appian or the Apocrypha that is Josephus? I can't remember. Manetho's one and Josephus the other, and that's where all of the primary accounts of the Hebrews come from.
Sure.
I believe. Outside of, like, Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Josephus is a, first, second century Jewish historian?
Yeah. Just like right after post-Jesus.
Yeah, just right after post-Jesus.
Yeah, and then too, what was it you saying that the Jews believe that I don't know if this is us talking, they thought, like, the Jews are like, no, there was no resurrection, people stole the body.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a very common first century Jewish claim. Like, no, he didn't raise from the dead. I mean, for almost 200 years, the Jewish community goes to extreme lengths in rabbinic Judaism to separate out themselves from the Christian virus. That's not someone else's word, but that's my own word. Like, you've got Christians, converts, Jewish people now believing in Jesus, still going to synagogue, sitting next to people who've never heard about Jesus or who don't believe in Jesus.
There's a synagogue like that right in front of Ruby Tuesdays, but they're like, they adhere to the Sabbath and all the teaching of Judaism, but they believe in Jesus.
They're Messianic Jews.
Yes, fascinating.
Well, you've got Jews who are like, oh, Jesus, he's Mashiach, he's the Messiah, and then they keep going to their same synagogue, and that relationship, that weird, like, what the hell. The rabbis are like, no, this isn't Judaism anymore. You can't be here anymore. That works itself out over like 150 years. It's an interesting process, but it actually, like, there's violence on both sides, and I think it's kind of the hotbed that creates a lot of anti-Semitism, really. Like, people will point back to, like, the Gospels and, like, it blaming the Jews. And if you read the Gospels as a Jewish document writing to Jews, it's a lot less anti-Semitic. In fact, if you read first, like, older rabbinic Judaism,
this has been a major interest of
Judaism, mine. Like, writing and accounts of, like, old rabbis and stuff like that, the way that, like, John is talking to his audience is very similar to the way that other Jews of his time talked to other Jews in writings. Like the Mishnah and the Gemara, but less so because those are written slightly different. They're more of like, this person said this once, and then it's 4 people chime in. But yeah, like, I think that whole process is really interesting to me, and it's completely lost on us. No one knows what happened in synagogues for the first 300 years, that then, like, we get these holy wars, especially when the church marries Rome, the empire. But yeah, like, you've got rabbis trying to get rid of Christians or try to reconvert them back, and you've got this whole working out of, like, well, you're not Jews, you're Jews, and so Judaism, like really over a couple of 100 years, like, tightens up and says, no, this is what it means to be a Jew, and they really start to lock it down, and the definition really does, like, one of the strong pillars is not Christian. And that, I think, has affected their identity and their relations with the entire world for 1800 years.
I talk about this in Civ too. So, like
you see that today.
The Pope would not allow Christians to charge interest
No, yeah,
on
you're not
money
allowed
loaned.
to. Right, yeah.
But the Jews did.
Yeah, the Jews
It's
could.
another reason.
They're using the same books to, you know, like, to do two different things, right? Like, you're not allowed to, the Pope won't. He's using the Bible. The Jews will. They're using the Bible.
Dude.
That's why they got into the banking business. Good times.
I told Colby I was podcast and probably about to wrap it up here in a few, and he goes, and I said, and then.
Dude.
Sultan. Remember that part?
Sweet.
Join the cult.
Yeah,
Zoltan. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pre-junior high, bro.
It's really fun.
What's the most junior high movie you've watched in the last 3 months?
Right now, life kind of washes over me in a way that, like, I can't really remember too many things. But I have this feeling. Things translate into feelings or slight emotions.
Okay, well, like, while we're on that topic,
Yeah.
where do you stand on the new Jumanji movie?
I am not protesting it, but I am.
No, fuck that movie.
I'm not watching it.
Not watching
I'm not
it.
going out of my way not to see it, but I don't imagine a scenario where I'm going to have to see it. And
I don't want to
that's
refer to
unexciting
it
me.
as shitting on my childhood, but in a way.
I'm not willing to say that it's a racially motivated move. Because I love Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Maybe.
But why? Why did we have to remake
I was thinking
Jumanji?
we should just remake Dead Poets Society and Mrs. Doubtfire.
It doesn't look good. Yeah, let's stop remaking.
Maybe Hook?
Why? Why are these things happening? I'm not as upset about a black Superman as everyone else seems to be.
Yeah, everybody is upset about that. I saw this funny, I'm not going to pull it up, but I screenshotted Michael B. Jordan, Black Superman, and then I screenshotted, there was that, and then like right next to it, it was like a picture of Ryan Gosling.
Right, as Martin Luther King. Right. I just think that's the silliest thing ever.
That was a man who stood against a nation.
I mean,
that's what it said.
But you do get things like that. You do get things where you just kind of like paint something black in order to try and create this like race.
Oh, it
bridge.
even happened in the UFC. Like Brendan Schwab was like all of but they were all champions of was like all these pundits on the Sports Center for UFC or whatever. Were all these like, it was Yves Edwards, it was Rashad Evans, Tyron Woodley, and like maybe one more, but like Brendan Schwab was like, we get it, okay? We get it. You got enough black people up there? And too, he had people come out against him, but you know, I do see a little bit of that. Like it's almost like there's become a pressure to level things out like that.
Yeah, well, you're either race matters or it doesn't. You can't have both. You can't have race not matter, you know, and then it matter all of a sudden. Like, there aren't enough black people, so race matters. Like, are we all the same or are we not? And then, like, you obviously can't ignore certain social and historical factors that are discriminating people by their race or ethnicity or what neighborhood they grow up in or what kind of language they speak, like, or what kind of English you speak. But like, when you're putting forth a paradigm that you want to stick, like an archetype, you have to stick to it. You can't just bend it around and try to like over-adjust, over-correct. So you either have to make, like ultimately when we want to get somewhere where these differences don't matter on a certain scale. Obviously, discrimination has to happen. You have to discriminate against somebody to get the job if they can't communicate well with the customers that you're having them talk to, clearly. But you need that archetype to stay solid, and the only way you're going to do that is to stick with race doesn't matter. So when, you know, a person does something of excellence, no matter what color they are, they get recognized for it. Now there are other, you know, factors that go on and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, I was going to say, I was more upset about Man of Steel than I could ever be about a black Superman. Who cares what color he is, as long as he's actually Superman? That's my question. When Superman kills Zod, I immediately say, well, that's not Superman anymore. This was a great movie up until now, and now I'm pissed because this is no longer a Superman movie.
Well, at least they had Kevin Costner as his dad.
That was...
Yeah?
Russell Crowe.
No, it was Kevin Costner.
In Man of Steel?
Okay, are we talking like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, now that movie sucked, bro.
No, dude, I loved that movie. I thought the special effects were on point for the time period.
That's so why they brought him back for the sequel.
For what? What are you talking about?
Okay, I'm talking about the one with Kevin Costner was his dad. What was the name of that one?
Kevin Costner was his dad. Okay, so there's like a Superman Returns where he has a son, where Kevin Spacey is the bad guy, is Luthor. And then there's this one called Man of Steel where Russell Crowe is his father. And it's Henry Cavill, or whatever his name is.
Oh, okay, yeah. Russell Crowe is his Kryptonian father.
Oh, right, and then, yeah.
I'm talking about Earth Dad.
I don't care.
Remember he dies in the tornado?
I don't care about that guy, but yeah, you're right.
Kevin Costner,
ironically, he dies in a
Robin
tornado.
Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Twister.
Postman.
Twister.
That too.
He should have known better.
Helen Hunt.
Right. Anyways, no, you're right. That movie, I liked. I liked it up until the point where he snapped Zod's neck. For several reasons, which I will enumerate here. One, if he's strong enough to snap his neck, he's strong enough to keep his neck from turning to hit those people with his eye lasers.
Right.
Superman could have covered his eyes and diverted the lasers away.
I think
Superman is Superman because he's strong enough to get the job done without having to resort to things like killing people. That's what he's an archetype. And when you destroy that archetype, you destroy the very moral fabric of our culture, and I hated it for that.
Well, I think
so. As long as Michael Jordan, is that his name? I don't know.
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. I'm sorry, not to be confused with the basketball player who's clearly
which is Michael A. Jordan.
I did not know.
18.
Okay. Anyways, as long as Michael Jordan sticks to an actual Superman that is Superman, I'm okay with it.
Well, I think what we're failing to hit the nail on the head here is that DC sucks and Marvel's awesome.
Regardless, the type of stories that your culture, that your people tell.
Yeah, archetypes, yeah. I get what you're saying with
that.
They
shape who you are. They shape who your children become. And when you start messing with that in irresponsible ways...
We start giving away trophies for participation.
Sure. Okay. No, like... When you get into trouble, I think that we have enough awareness at this point in history to know that the kinds of stories we tell about ourselves and we tell ourselves affect who we become, and we can use that for good. But instead, we have all these like romances with anti-heroes and things like that, which is fantastic. You need that kind of elasticity in it, but you really do need those archetypes that hold the foundations of civilization together, like Superman. Or like Batman, both of which refuse to kill. That is the thing, right? Like they are unwilling to commit murder. Now, if someone dies...
You know, there was a thing about G.I. Joe, too. I never saw anybody dying in the G.I. Joe cartoon.
No, you always arrest the person, right?
Yeah.
If only cops, ironically, if only cops had watched more Batman, Superman, and G.I. Joe, less people would die.
Well, too, I mean, you don't have that many confirmed kills in movies like Star Wars, either.
Right. Well, the stormtroopers were ordered not to hit the main characters because Darth Vader was setting that whole thing up to where he would meet Luke. Have
you heard this conspiracy theory that Admiral Hux is really Luke Skywalker's son and a mole inside the new world?
Admiral Hux. You're gonna have to help me out with who that guy is.
Okay. So you remember in, I guess it was the last Star Wars movie, where you have Poe and he's outside of he's in his ship talking to the guy on the cruiser and he's making fun of him.
Poe, yeah.
The guy he's making fun of is Admiral Hux. Admiral Hux is the guy that...
He's like redheaded though.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, another thing is like, who do you think Rey's parents are, bro? I think Rey and Kylo are brother and sister, and I don't think
that Han and Leia would have lost track of their daughter.
It's not Han and Leia. It's
Leia.
It's Han's daughter with Khaleesi from Solo.
I didn't see Solo. Is that a problem?
Sorry, bro.
That's alright.
Can I give you a spoiler?
It's fine. Apparently he has sex with some chick named Khaleesi.
Well, it's Khaleesi from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I see. Really? She's in that?
Yes.
I might watch
and
it.
it's Han Solo's like high school sweetheart, and they reunite. But turns out she is a Sith Padawan to none other than Darth Maul, who's not really dead, bro. That's what got me on confirmed deaths.
Yeah.
So if they can just chop Darth Maul in half and him fall down a shaft, and you cut off Luke's hand and he falls down a shaft. People that fall down shafts, I mean, Obi-Wan.
They don't die.
Yeah, nobody dies. I mean, you just join the Force.
Not dead.
That's another theory, bro. And then there's this theory about the.
You know why? Because he got stabbed and fell down a shaft. He's alive. Of course, that entire shaft blew up.
Or did
You'd have to be floating in space like Frieza DBZ style in order to survive.
You know, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I didn't see that shaft blow up.
Of course, now that you've got Leia floating through space, no problem.
That was so corny, dude.
I mean, like, I get it. She's also a Force user, but you could.
At least we got J.J. Abrams back on the next one.
Yeah, it was rough.
I will say this: in Solo, Warwick Davis, he's in that one.
He is a
Willow. And he's played
I know who
Warwick
Davis is.
Oh yeah, dude. So sometimes I say words like Warwick Davis, and people don't know what I'm talking about.
I feel like he is ageless. That man is like going forever.
He's timeless, man. He's like a
He was
Pink Floyd
part of the original Ewoks.
Yeah. In like and well, that would have been 83, I think.
Yes.
84.
And I mean, he's aged. Obviously, he was obviously in Harry Potter like for 3 or 4 different roles.
Dude, I love Harry Potter.
But like.
So much.
Are you high?
Dude, Cora and I watch them all the time, bro.
Yeah.
The first 2 movies until they got the real Dumbledore in there kind of sucked.
You know, for the last 15 years, it has been like a seasonal thing where like fall comes around and there's a Harry Potter marathon weekend.
Dude,
and that's how you know that fall is here.
I got all 8 of the movies in DVD. And
Doesn't matter.
We can watch them right now.
It has to come on something like ABC Family or Freeform or whatever it is now. It has to come on.
I don't even have cable anymore.
See, that's the only reason I keep cable is for those marathons. That way I'm like, oh, hey, it's Christmas time. Or, oh, hey, it's this time. That's it.
It is nice having just smart TVs and streaming only.
It's true. It's true. Financially, I think that's the way to go. I don't know why cable even exists still. But
or radio, man. Like, the music that I hear on the radio pisses me off.
Even satellite radio has become complete shit.
Like, the number of people, like
for the same money, how much is an XM subscription? Is that like $50-$60 a year? You're gonna get Pandora for the same damn thing, and Pandora has it to where you can do everything Spotify. Just like Spotify. Yeah.
We gave Colby some. Like one time, we went on a trip, and Colby was playing this Pandora, and he kept getting ads, and we were like, dude. Well, like, we are so tired of listening to these commercials. Like, we were just giving so much shit.
But, like, if you upgrade to premium, it's like $5 a month or something like that. And it's the same thing as Spotify or anything else.
I think we pay for our Spotify business.
You're going to spend, what, $30 to $60 a year for a radio service that's going to give you access to all the music you ever want to hear. That you're even going to be probably able to download temporarily to your device, and then run when you don't have service. Why do we even...
Well, too, like, think about things like what we're doing right now with podcasting, bro. It's like why, like, I'm just like, every time I talk to Cora about needing to spend like several hundred more dollars on...
Several hundred more dollars on a bearskin
It's like, well, I mean, here's the thing. It's fake bearskin. But, yeah. I mean, bro, it came from like TJ Maxx. Hey, I like animals, okay? No bear was harmed in the making of this rug. Is that like we do have a unique lifestyle set up with the gym and like my age and like the professor thing on the side and like just all the stuff I'm doing, and like I really do truly and honestly believe I'm like, if I can be recording like about this all the time, if I can, like, cause like the next studio, like, so I have my office studio, I have this studio, it's almost done. My office studio, I gotta get 2 more things for it. It's something to set between the chairs for the mic on like this. And I gotta get a wall arm for my second monitor. And then that studio's done.
So in the office, you're not gonna have another like big table or anything that people can sit around? Man, I love that round table kind of like setup.
Well, see, okay, so here's my plan. When I get my studio set up at the gym, after we build the new location, I've got a room I'm gonna use for the studio at the gym, and I'm gonna go back with the same style setup I had in here.
Okay,
so I have literally like 3 studios. So it's like, if I can't get you out here to my house, but I know that it's like, hey dude, just meet me at the gym before I teach classes. We can do a podcast there, no big deal. That's kind of my plan. Because I mean, dude, I've got other mics, but we're trying to multi-purpose this too. Like Cora and Colby and I, so far just the 3 of us, and some, you know, like we're really trying to get Dylan Sparks involved too. But had been playing music like super consistently. Corey's taking vocal lessons. Like Colby plays like world percussion, bongos, congas, djembe. I play guitar and Corey sings. It's all very nice. So like we're doing that in here too. So it's like I'm trying to kind of like multi-purpose things and like, dude, so I like stopped playing music for a long time. I mean, I didn't stop. I just did it for stress relief. But I like went from playing like in bands and like wanting to play in bands to like, oh, I got to build the gym and not do that.
Yeah.
Because like when I was playing with the last band I played with, I gave up one night a week at the gym for band practice.
Right.
And like I'm just not in a situation where I can do that anymore. But like, fortunately, dude, like it's so weird. Like it's not really weird, but like, dude, like Colby's like my best friend ever now, bro. Like you wouldn't have really thought that. And I would say he's also one of the most responsible people out of everyone that we graduated with. That dude and I might take over the world together. Like. We're on the same page.
Right.
He is a hard-ass working, smart motherfucker. Like, it kind of blows my mind. Like, with what he does with floors, like a black belt in that. You know, like he is an artist. Like what he does with showers, what he does with tile, it blows my mind. Right. And like, it's just all like in the last 5 years, how much I've seen him grow as a person. And like, dude, I can't say enough good things, because like, dude, our friendship's really gotten so much closer since he and Allie broke up. But he started doing things he never did before, like jiu-jitsu.
Right. Positive things.
Dude, like never.
I'll say like that.
Has he ever connected with the community?
He's probably so better off that you were there to catch him, like with positive things to fill in his life with.
Dude, and too, like, I mean, because I tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, don't you think you're not here for me just as much as I'm here for you? Right. Because, bro, like, right now, like, just like all this stuff you alluded to, I'm going through all that right now with, like the whole new routine job thing. Like, I got people holding my hand. You know, like, we were in my departmental meeting, which is me and the social scientist, and I was just like, guys, I hate the committee I'm on. It really sucks. Thank you all for helping me. Please help me more. Like, it was just like, I really appreciate all that all 5 of you guys do for me. And they're like, oh, we're here for you. We know. But like, dude, like this guy that you're going to be replacing when he retires.
Is he going out like next year or something?
This is his last year. He runs a practice, like a psychology, like a counseling services. But him and some of the other behavioral scientists used to teach. He said they would teach 7 classes, and I was like, "Geez, wow." But yeah, it is nice too. He teaches overloads, dude. They pay you the next extra 2 G's.
Extra 2 G's on top of the 37.
Yeah. So like, if you do an overload each semester and grab you a summer class.
Yeah, if you get that year where it's like, I got nothing going.
And then, like, to Cora, I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to teach another class and buy a bunch of stuff I want.
That's right.
So,
that's right. That's fine.
Like the new Fender Strat I just got.
Oh, man.
Well, dude, so it feels good to have my podcast back up and rolling. Yeah. And I'm going to be playing with a bunch of different ways to do this.
It's a bit of a rough start, but, like, I mean, that's life, you know, like the podcast.
It is. I'll get this. I just like, I thought, I don't know, like what I may have to do is, you see how both these cables are plugged in?
Yeah.
I may have to plug those into 2 XLRs and take them in.
There's somebody probably going to listen to this and be like, no, Brian, you have to do this more.
I know. It's probably, and it's
probably, you could reach Brian.
Probably Brian from Valley Pianos. But like, okay, so I took a look at this. This is like, if I was like the last time you were here and did a podcast, I had my microphone plugged into that, right?
Go on.
So this is what this is, right?
Sure. Why is that not working?
Boom. I would have thought that it would have.
Can you plug that straight into here and it work? That'd be the question.
For whatever reason, it wasn't sent into the camera. That's
straight from this one, not this one. You eliminated this as being the possible problem.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
could be.
This is just the.
You're gonna spend 4 hours in here troubleshooting the crap out of this.
Colby and I were in here last night, and I figured out like a couple of connectivity things I've been thinking about, because it's just like, I know how the audio flows and like stereo, mono, and like there's a couple of rules, you know. And then it's just like, okay, well, how do I get my... Like, it's about getting everything into the mixer.
Yeah.
And then going somewhere else. So, like, I send audio to the mixer, and the mixer sends it to the camera. And then I want it to send to this recorder, so I have 2 feeds. So
mixes where the thing goes.
We're about to be doing the same thing with... I don't know if I'm going to use that mixer down there or not.
It's a lot bigger.
It is. I may sell it. I got a whole bunch of old musical stuff I'm going to put on the marketplace.
Right on.
Corey's going to make me sell some of my stuff to pay for some of my other stuff.
Fair enough.
Well, dude, you have to come back on.
Yeah,
Or we'll do one at work because I can set the same one.
Right.
Guest speakerage. I'll let you know when we get close to Rome.
Yeah. So, like, again, back to that, I've just overextended myself, especially with the encyclopedia stuff. If I get out from underneath that, which will be in the next 2 months, that will be the biggest, like...
Why don't you ask Tyler if you can just keep me a couple of articles you want to do?
So, like, I'm doing sidebars to all the articles, which is what I want to do.
Okay.
But you need to email and be like, hey, I hear you're doing an encyclopedia thing. Do you need anyone to write some articles? And
are you doing it for, like, portfolio purposes, or is he paying you?
Well, I think I'm getting money at the end of it, but really, like, it's because when I signed up, it was, like, I had time and space, and the rhythm of my life was going really well. I was like, yeah, I do want to do that. And it's one of those, it's like welding. Like, I don't foresee me needing to weld for my life. I do not intend to take weld for my livelihood. But it's one of those things that I've just picked up, and it's like, that's in my tool belt now. Like,
yeah.
That's, I can put that on my resume if it's ever relevant.
Dude, I'll say this. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, no matter what it is, I will never be without a job.
I am trying slowly, and I every day I know that I'm failing, but I am trying to be one of those interesting people that you'll ever meet, as far as, like, experiences and things that I've done. I am attempting it. If I were rich, I think it would be much easier. But then again, maybe that adds flavor to the people who understand that it's not very easy to get around and do things without money. There's just a lot of kids out there just like, oh yeah, I ran to New Zealand yesterday and went kayaking. How awesome. Okay.
Dude, I talk to so many kids right now that are so lost. And, like, I just tell them, like, here's the #1 story I tell people.
You just hand them Jordan Peterson's book and move on with it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Here's the #1 story I tell them, then we'll wrap it up. But, like, because I told somebody this yesterday, and they're like, I've changed my major. I don't know what I want to do. I'm worried about making money when I get out.
Don't declare until senior year.
Yeah, I was like, no, fuck that. You take stuff you're interested in taking, and you go from there. That making you take those gen eds on the front end, fuck that.
Yeah.
I was a senior taking biology, and because I was a senior, I made an A in it, you know. But
that's right.
What I tell them is,
funny how, like, freshman classes, you do so much better if you did it 3 years from now.
When Cora broke this down, because Cora's the money, she's the math, she's the accounting.
Right. There you go.
She's the payroll, she's all that.
I need one of those.
And, like, 2 years ago, we lived in a tiny apartment that we lived in for 7 years.
Yeah, I liked that apartment.
It was, we didn't have a lot of material possessions and not a lot of nice things. We didn't have the house. We didn't own the gym, really, even, going back less than 3 years ago, we didn't even have that. So, like, even 2 years ago, when all of my bills were paid for the gym and my house, and we paid ourselves, and I paid for student loans, and blah, 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 we had $75.
Yeah, coming in a month that you had to deal with.
Just extra. So basically, like, if we wanted to save money, that was it. Like, we had all our groceries and everything. Okay. But, like, after everything was met, we had $75.
Right.
And, like, I don't want to divulge on the podcast what that is now, because
it's no need.
It's kind of a shitty way to, like, it's not bragging or anything, but it's like,
it's more than $75.
It's so not the case, and it's so not the case after my bills are paid now. And Cora told me that in context, it made me cry.
Yeah.
Like, because it was like, oh, I just realized I achieved my goals.
Yeah, there's something about that. I need somebody to sort out my life in that kind of way. Like, yeah.
I couldn't do any of this without her.
Yeah.
A lot of people know that. I tell her that all the time. Like, I've just tried to
get her a plaque every year.
I've tried to shift more and more because, like, she, like, 3 years ago, she wasn't as good at what she is now. Like, she made herself good at it,
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was ever frustrated. I knew that it would work itself out over time, but like now she is so remarkably freaking good. It's like, it's a total game changer.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'd do. I could not do any of this without her. I couldn't have probably even got my history job without her.
Right. You'd just be living in a van playing music, beating people up, drunk on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dugan's Pub style.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corey Ostendorf. Oh, man.
Who should stop shouting now?
There's one podcast.
Dude, his kid just turned 1.
Wow.
Yeah, last Wednesday I just went to the birthday party yesterday.
There was one podcast when Colby and I were in here, and like he was like, "Dude, you can't upload that," because we were like, "Here's a short list of the names we mentioned." We're like, Josh Clay, Stephen Jones, Marissa Merritt.
Stephen Jones just had a kid.
Like we went through all of these people
me?
from high school.
Brittany just had a kid.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I wonder what that dude ended up getting up to. Cause
I think they're in Florida.
While we were talking about Stephen Jones, it's because all the sweet fights he got into in junior high with Nathan Yates and fucking Josh Clay. Because we were talking about fights we'd seen.
Yeah.
Like, dude, because like what got
that
me
one
on
in the field house. You remember? Like,
yes.
Oh, man, swollen face. Like, that was crazy. Anyways.
Well, okay, so like what got us on that is like, dude, my kids now in middle school, like 5th and 6th grade, tell me at Russellville they see fights every day.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I got to see like 5 fights in my entire high school career, and I missed the greatest one.
You were in one of them.
I missed the greatest one at Klein Park with, who was that? Tyler Bernard and Josh Alston, right?
I do remember hearing about that. I was not there for that.
Yes, I was so sad, man. So sad. It's so funny, like, all over, like, I love talking about names on the podcast. I used to be jacked up with it.
People that
but all
knows.
about like Ashlyn Looper, like, because I dated her between, like, in the summer between, like, 9th and 10th grade. And then she hooked up with Tyler Bernard. So, like, all through, maybe it was between 10th and 11th, I don't remember, but that dude would pass me every day and flip me off. And, like, talk shit to me in the hall and threaten to beat my ass and stuff.
But didn't her and somebody
I don't know
make out like junior senior year?
All I'm saying,
like on the at the country club on the golf course.
All I'm saying with this is
his dad may be a principal at an elementary school. Now
that motherfucker can come kiss the ring, because like there's a whole list of people like that like I was telling this with the Olsen's music the other day. They kind of like are really super rude, and I've spent a lot of money there. And if you go in with something you didn't buy from them, they're rude as fuck to you. And I was just like, so like I don't go in there anymore, and I openly tell people not to go, and I talk shit about them.
Why would you? Yeah.
So.
Well, it's not so much talking shit as it is like this is what they're like, and it's
so like
not
what
a positive
what I
experience.
was telling them, I was like, I bet they didn't think when they were being that rude to me that I'd have the influence to turn as much business away from them as I do.
Yeah.
And it's like people like it's like I've let go all that hate, but now I find it so funny that Tyler Bernard is driving around flipping me off when it's like I could literally choke him unconscious with 2 fingers because I did that to somebody.
Yeah, you might be the type of person though that is like becomes a cop and beats someone to death.
Now I'm just going to train the cops to not do that.
To not do that. But you might be the personality who, under different circumstances, would have done that. That's how you would have ended up.
Possibly.
You'd have gotten power, like you do now, and you would have found much more petty ways, much more violent ways.
That's exactly. You know what? You know what parable I tell people all the time?
Is it an actual parable?
It's not a DC parable. I'll tell you that much.
Okay,
it's a Marvel.
It's a Marvel. Not an actual parable. Go on.
It comes from the movie Spider-Man.
Oh God.
A little man I like to call Uncle Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Great power.
Oh God. He's gonna say
great responsibility. I tell my kids that all the time. They're like, "You're right, Coach.
We can't kill people.
We can't just go use our powers for evil."
That's right, kids. Don't go choke people to death. It's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, dude.
All right.
Thanks for coming over, bro.
Another successful cast.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to be back because this is fulfilling for me, and I haven't got to do one. So. All right. Well, you got anything to say before we sign off?
No.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
Okay.